never thought I'd say this. The Democrats are poised to try to end asylum in America as we know it. The Biden White House has gone from being pro-immigrant and pro-humanitarian to anti-asylum, an evolution that few saw coming. Now, Biden's team has bent over backward in negotiations with Republicans in Congress to get tough on the border, and it's making compromises on asylum that seemed unthinkable just a few months ago. Ahead of impending presidential elections, asylum seekers are essentially bargaining chips, with both sides, Democrats and Republicans, seeking to use them as leverage. Biden and top Republicans in the Senate recently announced a framework that could become law imminently. But to be clear, there's still some doubt as to whether this proposal will pass. Now, Donald Trump has injected himself into the discussion, urging Republicans not to make a deal. Keep watching to learn what's in the proposal that could reshape asylum in America for decades to come. I'm Brian Manning, and I used to be an asylum officer with the government, but now, as an asylum lawyer, I help immigrants all over the country to secure their future in America through asylum. By the way, let me know in the comments if you've got an asylum case pending or are considering applying, and I'd especially like to hear from you if you've been waiting for an asylum interview for multiple years. All right, a bipartisan group of senators has, with the White House's blessing, settled on a proposal that could become law any day now. This groundbreaking agreement aims to introduce new, robust border controls and potentially reshape the current U.S. immigration landscape. So here are 7 of the most consequential changes in the current version of the immigration proposal. First up, one of the most contentious elements of this agreement is the introduction of a new legal authority that would allow the executive branch to temporarily suspend asylum processing between official ports of entry during periods when migrant crossings exceed specific thresholds. This is a significant shift from current U.S. law, which generally permits most immigrants on American soil to request asylum, regardless of their method and place of entry. Under the proposed legislation, when the average daily migrant crossings hit 5,000 over 7 days or reach 8,500 in a single day, well, this suspension authority would be mandated. It could also be activated on a discretionary basis when daily crossings surpass 4,000 in a week. During these periods, migrants who cross into the United States illegally would not be eligible to ask for asylum and would face immediate deportation in some cases to Mexico or their home countries. President Biden has expressed his commitment to using these new powers the day I signed the bill into law, describing the proposed measures as the toughest and fairest set of reforms to secure the border we've ever had in our country. This is surprising coming from a president who ran on expanding protection for asylum seekers. Now he's doing the opposite. But tough political times demand a shift in position. The nation sees immigration as a major failure for Biden, and he's looking for a big legislative victory as election season heats up. Now, despite the stringent measures, the proposal ensures the preservation of asylum processing at official ports of entry. In fact, U.S. border officials would be required to process over 1,400 asylum seekers daily at these official crossings, even when the shutdown authority is invoked. By the way, if you want to maximize your chances for asylum success, then be sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell notification so that you don't miss the insights that I share on this channel. Okay, major change number 2. Another significant aspect of the proposal focuses on expediting the asylum decision process, which currently can take years down to just 6 months. But I've got to say, it would take a minor miracle for this to actually happen. The government is anything but efficient in handling asylum cases, and throwing more money at the problem can only help so much. So what else are we looking at? Well, third, under the proposal, the initial humanitarian protection screenings for people who come without a visa and ask for asylum would have a higher standard. So fewer people would pass them, meaning a higher percentage of asylum seekers would get deported quickly, with fewer people being released into the interior of the United States to have their claim heard in immigration court proceedings. However, in a significant change, which is number 4 on our list, those who do receive a positive decision in their credible fear interview would be immediately eligible to work in the United States. Now, contrast this with the status quo, the current situation, where you can apply to work 150 days after formally submitting an asylum application. So this change is likely to be well received by communities struggling to accommodate migrants relying on local services, because it will make more asylum seekers self-sustainable and It'll help employers who are desperately in search of labor. All right, fifth, the deal under discussion also touches on the contentious issue of immigration parole authority, which President Biden has used extensively to resettle over 1 million migrants, many of them from Afghanistan and Ukraine. While there's discussion on limiting the use of parole at land borders, broader restrictions proposed by Republicans have been met with resistance from the White House. Next up, number 6. Under the proposal, the Biden administration is seeking $14 billion to fund border operations and hire additional asylum officers, border agents, and immigration judges. And finally, number 7. The compromise includes provisions related to legal immigration. It proposes the allocation of 50,000 new family and employment-based immigrant visas. It offers permanent residency to thousands of Afghans brought to the United States following the fall of Kabul in 2021, and it provides immigration status to the children of H-1B visa holders. As the nation stands on the cusp of what could be the most significant overhaul of the immigration system since the 1990s, there's still real concern that former President Trump could blow it all up. He announced that he does not want the package to pass, urging Republicans to vote against it. He claims they should wait, as he will drive an even better deal if he's elected president, he says. He may find a receptive audience in the House of Representatives. Now, in reality, Trump knows that chaos at the border serves him. It makes Biden look weak and it motivates Trump's political base. So he doesn't want the border problem to be solved. He wants to run on the issue in the campaign. Now, we'll of course watch developments closely and report back as we get clarity on where things are headed. If you're ready to take the next step and get help with your asylum case, then call my office today. That number is 713-909-0401. And remember, we help people all over the country, so it doesn't matter where you live. Call us to schedule an asylum strategy session so that we can help you to secure your future in America through asylum. Again, I'm Brian Manning, and it's an honor to serve you in your asylum journey.